The exhibition, The New Subject, Mutating Rights and Conditions of Living Body, is an exhibition about various forms of control that we experience during our lifetime. And it comes from the state, it comes from corporations, it comes from other people, the system of legislation, education, and other social institutions. So the show unveils these mechanisms of control and oppression, and also presents various forms of resistance to these controlling mechanisms. The title of the exhibition, The New Subject, comes from an article, a recent article of Cameroonian historian Achille Mbembe, who argues that today's societies of control rely on a manufacturing of a new subject, which is a physiological assemblage, an electronic assemblage, and a neurobiological assemblage. So an individual in a contemporary society is often a tool for the state to perform various needs of the state.
The exhibition consists of 4 interconnected chapters. One of them is called Body as a Human Resource and a State Machinery. So that's a body of works really touching upon different ways of how body is becoming an instrument, a tool for achieving different military and ideological agenda of the states. So there is also a chapter which called Body as a Sociobiological Infrastructure, and there is a work connected to the different possibilities and condition of body for reproduction. There is also work that is touching upon ethical aspects of implantation of organs when there are 2 narratives clashes together, when the body, which is hosting an artificial organ, is in a dialogue with the voice of medical achievement, which is making that possible. So there is different sides of that, and ethical aspects of that is also raised. What is natural, what is artificial? There is also a chapter which called Legal Violence and Embedded Resistance, which is comprising works connected to invisible loopholes within the legislative system that becoming violent to groups of people within different societies. Also, there is a chapter which is called Perception of Presence, and practices of recognitions are dealing with different forms of norms that are connected to the form of body, the size of that, and also with the understanding of togetherness, intimacy, different forms of relationship that are maybe not fitting into regular or imposed understanding of different relationship.
Since a large part of the exhibition relies on various legislative decisions and decision-making on the part of the state, we decided to include a chronological timeline dedicated to human and non-human bodies into the exhibition. So the timeline traces changes that start from 1871, when abortions were banned in Germany, and traces various changes on the legal grounds that were a part of German political context. For humanity, the theme of our bodies, first of all, it's a very personal subject, right? We all own our bodies and we understand their fragility and vulnerability. And I think the current political processes often make us feel much more vulnerable and unprotected, and see the state often not as a protector of our rights, but rather an aggressor affecting our biological bodies, not in a good way. So I think the new subject is not so new, but remains relevant for centuries, because the opposition between an individual and the state is a theme that is always relevant, because this relationship are still full of dominance and violence, even in most progressive societies.